is the TNH Podcast Network.
You know what? Every mom, if you're listening to this, give your mom a hug. Give your dad a hug. Give your aunt a hug. Give your uncle a hug. Give your dog a little kiss.
Be grateful for them.
Thanksgiving's coming up. Hopefully you're listening to this while you're eating your Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what people
do?
do?
Background music, yeah.
The perfect soundtrack.
Yes. So
The Kokoris family Thanksgiving's got a little bit of HoopCats going on, right?
of course. No doubt.
What is good, everyone? Today's Friday, November 22nd, 2019, and welcome to the 7th episode of the second season on the HoopCats podcast on the TNH Podcast Network. My name's Sam Eggert. I'm here with the gang, Yanni Kokoris and Matt Erb. Boys, how we doing?
Howdy.
Good morning.
Today on the podcast, we'll be talking a little bit of Celtics Clippers, a little bit of Melo on the Blazers, talk a little bit of Luca. We've got our friend Jacob Duffy coming on the podcast to talk some fantasy basketball. Guys, you got a packed show, so let's stop wasting time. Celtics Clippers.
Oh,
what a game.
it was a movie.
What a game. And this was a special game for me because I've got this major problem in my life. I get the Clippers feed. I get every Clippers game, but I don't get the Celtics games because I'm too scared to stream on my computer. So I had to watch this one. I watched the full thing. We saw a great performance from Pat Beverly, 14 points, 16 boards, career high, 7 assists. On the Celtics front, Jay Smoove was stirring up lattes. The dude had 30 points, 12-24 from the field, 5-10 from three.
Unreal.
Yanni, what did we see? I mean, Jason Tatum, he's starting to step up, isn't he?
It's magical. It really is. The Celtics are the best team in basketball. I don't care if they lost that game. They proved that they are going to be able to beat everybody and play with everybody. Jason Tatum's an MVP, man. He's so good at
Better
basketball.
than the Utah Jazz?
Oh, we're going to get there. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But I don't want to talk about the Utah Jazz. They're disappointing me lately.
Hey, we're talking C's.
Anyways, the C's are unreal. If you can go out and do that to the fully healthy Clippers team that supposedly is going to be the best team in basketball and should have beat them, I'm not saying calls didn't go our way, but man, one charge call on Kemba that didn't get called brutal late in the game, and then there was another call that the refs missed that, two
That was the
plays.
Jason Tatum one, right?
Jason Tatum one,
Yeah.
yes. 2 plays that could have gone the other way, and that game could have been different. But that Jason Tatum shot,
Oh, that was beautiful.
Jason Tatum is 21, 22 years old, and he has a dunk on LeBron, a crossover that shook someone so bad that they fell and hit a game-tying three. This guy's unreal.
Not only did Paul George fall, he fell 3 feet back.
I know. And it wasn't even their feet got tangled. This is just a straight fall. I'm claiming it as a straight fall.
Yeah, that was a great shot. And what I'm disappointed in myself because I ended up falling asleep at halftime, so I didn't get to see the second half live. But the Celtics were shooting horribly the first half. And to see Jason Tatum go 12 for 24 when he must have been maybe 1 or 2 from 8 from the first half, that's spectacular. And I'm really proud that he stepped it up. And unlike... Jaylen Brown, I'm not saying Jaylen Brown didn't step up, but he just, shot poorly. Kemba Walker shot poorly. I still think Marcus Smart shooting 20 shots a game is too much. I think give the ball more to Tatum and Brown and Walker than he's deserving, but not that Marcus can't score, but I just don't think they need him to score. I think they need him to defend.
Yeah, Smart went 1 of 11 from 3, which is not what you want to see.
He helped the 0 for 16 start that the Celtics did have. So.
Yeah, Brad Wanamaker broke that.
Yes.
And
Brad
man
Watermaker
is playing some damn good basketball.
Getting good production out of him, absolutely.
He's unreal. He's got the best posture in basketball. He's also, he had the best plus minus on the team last night, or the other night, or excuse me, second best at +6.
I hated when we re-signed him.
Oh, how?
Looking at him now, I just didn't think his production of last year, obviously, you want guys like Taco Fall and Tremont Waters, because I've been watching those guys in college. Obviously, you want those guys up. Didn't think Brad Wanamaker would be as productive. But, man, he plays at his own pace very well. That's the one thing I like about him.
He's a confident player, and I think he's 29, 30 years old, so he knows his game.
And he didn't make the NBA till 28.
Exactly.
He's been overseas for 7 years.
And that's the thing about it, is that he's had time to develop his game at a higher level than college.
Right.
Being one of the better players overseas, and we're seeing the same thing out of a guy like Theis, too.
Yeah, actual teammates overseas.
Exactly.
So.
And Wanamaker, how often do you see him make really blatantly poor decisions? It's a rarity.
Very rare.
And I get it, he turns the ball over a little bit. Everyone turns the ball over. He had 3 the other night. But, man, 14 points, 4 of 8 from the field, 5 assists, 4 for 4 from free throw. That makes me happy.
Yeah, he did his job coming off the bench. That's all you can ask for.
I don't know if you saw on First Take when the Stephen A was talking about this game. He called Daniel Theis Daniel Theis. Can you believe that?
Oh, someone else called him Theis, too.
Disrespect to this man.
That is disrespectful.
Oh, who else said... I was talking to... Oh, my God. This is going to kill me.
Was it someone in your personal life, or did you like something you heard in a podcast?
I think it was something I heard on a podcast. Who said Theis? Oh, my God.
It's not like Daniel Theis has like just came out of the water. Like he's been on the Celtics for 2 years now.
Yeah, he's a legit NBA player.
He didn't produce as much in those years, but this year he's been playing. He's been playing well.
Theis. Daniel Theis. You know who underperformed for the Clippers the other night? One of my favorite players, Mo Harkless. He was awful.
He's just like a good guy for them, though. He underperformed, but he's a good guy for them in the aspect that like he can stand there and get his shot when he wants because like Paul George and Kawhi get so much attention.
Exactly, and he's also a menace defensively.
Yes.
So he was doing that. It's just like he was kind of like fumbling the ball and it was kind of just looked shaky out there. But overall, I still think that was one of their better pickups of the season. And I said this on the last podcast. If the Blazers have Mo Harkless right now, they're in a much better spot than they would be otherwise.
Too, yeah. But if these two teams end up making the finals, it's going to be bad for the normal person and fantastic for basketball lovers. Because these games are not going to be 132, 130 shootouts. They're going to be hard defense. You saw the other day, what was the halftime score of that game?
It was 42-42.
42-40. I think the Celtics were up 2 going into the half. So.
Oh, yeah, 42-40. You're right.
Those games are going to be hard-nosed defensive end basketball, and it's just a different stretch of what we've seen.
And I don't know if you remember, but the first half, it's not even like the Clippers were defending well. The Celtics were just missing. Like half of their shots were just missed open shots. So like eventually they're going to be hitting those. So this game score could have been a little higher, but I think 104-107 is roughly what you'd expect from these two teams.
Yeah, we talked about Smart going 1 of 11 from 3, but Kemba 3 of 9. Jaylen Brown 1 for 8.
Yeah.
So that's not going to be the consistent thing. But regardless, Celtics and the Clippers, arguably the 2 best defensive teams in basketball. So we got what we asked for, and this is exactly what we could have expected, I think, going into this matchup.
Right.
Now, what I want to get to now is on more of the Clippers front. This was our first time seeing Paul George and Kawhi play together. They were staggering their minutes mostly, but when they were out there together, they were pretty damn good in that overtime period.
What was so great was, do you know who the leading scorer for the Clippers was?
Yeah, it was Lou Williams.
Yeah, so the Celtics were defending George and Kawhi so much that it left Lou Williams not necessarily open, but like one-on-one. And Lou Williams is a great one-on-one player. So.
Against anyone, yeah.
Yeah, so like it was the depth that really, I think, won the game for Clippers, having Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell produce when those two were heavily guarded and well defended.
Well, Harrell was kind of stifled. He only had 6 and 6.
Yeah, he actually, Cantor did a good job down for the most part.
Theis too.
Yes, I really like the way that Brad rotates our centers in. What he just goes with the hot hand for the most part. So Cantor in that first half was playing really well.
Yeah.
So he got the minutes that he needed, but second half Theis stepped up, and that's when Brad rode with Theis. But
I kind of wish we saw more minutes from Cantor. He was +9.
I think so too. But 2 things I want to get into with Kawhi and Paul. One that I don't really know how true I find it, but the fact that Paul George wanted to get traded to San Antonio in 2017 to play with Kawhi, that's news that is pretty incredible that like these two have been plotting their playing together for so long.
Yeah.
And then the second, Doc Rivers claimed that game was the first time that Paul George and Kawhi have played on the same basketball court, including practice. They've never practiced together.
That's just so weird to me. Hearing that.
I don't know the truth behind that because like, what are the chances of that? That's nuts. Your first time on the court together is
no practice
bright
at all.
lights. Yeah. I mean, like, I get you can do individual workouts and all this stuff, but you're telling me they haven't played on the same court together? Like, wow. Impressive.
Yeah.
Impressive. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, I think there's no reason not to expect them to dominate as the season goes on. And I don't even think Kawhi played that well.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
He played well towards the end.
Exactly, yeah.
But not.
I said 2 things at the end of the game. With 2 minutes left, I was saying the whole time, I actually texted you guys, said Jason Tatum needs a touch. He got the touch, scored the game-tying basket. Then I said if the Clippers want to win this game, Lou Williams needs to take this shot. Kawhi forced a shot that probably should have gone in, rolled out, but still, Lou Williams needed that shot, and he missed. Lou Williams was the MVP of that game, in my opinion.
And we talked about the matchups for a minute. I think Tatum matches up as well as anybody against Paul George.
Yeah.
I think Jaylen Brown matches up as well. I know it's really tough, and it's still Kawhi obviously wins this matchup. But Jaylen versus Kawhi is a lot better than what any other team in the NBA has to offer against a guy like Kawhi.
Right.
And then you add on to that Marcus Smart / Kemba guarding Lou Williams. That's pretty good. So that gives me confidence in this team, like as the potential final matchups
I agree.
comes onto the front.
That's if.
That's a big if.
That's
It's a fat if.
The Clippers can get by the Jazz. That's the if that I'm looking for right there.
So moving on, Carmelo Anthony made his season debut the other night, and he had another game last night. And in the Blazers 129-137 loss to the Milwaukee Bucks, he looked all right. I'm going to read out his stat line: 18 points, 7 boards, -1.
Yeah.
That's pretty damn good for Carmelo.
That's not bad at all.
You can't
for a
expect
guy
anything
who hasn't
else.
Played basketball in a year.
And the fact that he was exuding confidence out there, which you love to see. And I thought he was going to be a little hesitant, which is ludicrous now that I've actually seen him play.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to see him playing well. But do you guys think that he'll be scoring more than 15 points per game, like over the stretch coming up?
I think he's probably going to average maybe a little more than that. Do I think he's going to be the difference maker for, let's say the Blazers making the playoffs? No. But I think he's a good piece that they need on the team when Lillard's been out. So they need another scorer. Besides, CJ's been doing work, but they'll need another scorer. And I think Melo will probably average right around. I can't see him doing more than like 20 at most.
They're getting 20 from him?
That's awesome.
That's huge.
That's huge. Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't seen Melo play yet. I've seen the highlights. I don't know. I have no opinion yet. I can't judge.
Well, you think it's a good thing they added him?
Yeah, for now.
Okay.
He fits a certain role that they need, which I said last week.
And they really can't get any worse defensively.
Exactly.
So, who
it's
cares
not like he
at this
hurts on
point?
that end.
Yeah.
But still, it's a long process for the Trailblazers, man. They are just in shambles.
They got killed by injury.
Killed.
I mean, you talk about Nurk getting hurt and then Zach Collins. That was so brutal.
Killed.
So what exactly is Zach Collins' injury?
Shoulder.
Shoulder.
Yeah.
So do you know how long he's out for?
He's out indefinitely.
Yeah.
It's looking like
Okay.
4 months is what I last read.
Okay.
So I'm kind of counting him out for the season. I'd call him a maybe for playoffs, but it's looking unlikely.
Yeah, that's huge. That's bad.
And then Nurkic, I mean, we
That's
saw
just-
we
That-
saw
that
that
was a
man's leg
big
snap.
loss last
Yeah,
night,
that
or
was gross.
last year.
Oh, I don't even want to talk about that. That was nauseating. So, onto a more positive topic. One of Matt's favorite players, one of Yanni's favorite players, one of my favorite players, and he happens to be on my fantasy team, Luka Dončić. I mean, come on. Like, is this guy the early MVP?
He's in the conversation.
He's
you
the
can't
best-
ignore him.
I think he's an automatic triple-double, kind of.
He's the best 20-year-old of all time.
Yeah.
By far. It's not even close. What he's doing at 20 is unheard of.
This dude is averaging 29 points. 29.9, so 30 points.
30, yeah.
1.5 steals, 9.5 assists, and 10.5 rebounds per game.
Yeah. It's
And this is a guy who's not the most athletic player in the world, but he's still averaging more rebounds than anyone on his team, and he's keeping the Dallas Mavericks in the conversation. Like, it's not like he's getting these numbers and they're losing. They're winning, and I believe they're just over 500, right? I think they're 9-7, maybe. I'm not exactly sure, but
Mavs are 9-5 right now.
9-5. Oh, 9-5, even better. So this is a legit team with Doncic, and once Porzingis has been very iffy lately, but he will eventually get his footing, and this is a team that can give anyone in the West a little bit of trouble.
I told myself that at the beginning of this season, people were going to figure out how to guard Luka Dončić, and they did none of that.
Man, were you wrong about
They
that.
did none of that. I tried to convince myself, and it was just big wrong. Nobody can guard that step back. It's crazy. I was watching the game before the Celtics.
The Warriors,
when they were
yeah.
playing the Warriors. Obviously, it was a terrible game, but he's hitting shots that just like made my jaw drop. He's unreal.
Yeah, my friend Giovanni was at the game against the Celtics game against the Mavs. Celtics obviously won that, but there was a stretch where Luca was just hitting step back jumper after step back jumper after step back jumper, and he said it was awe-inspiring to watch him do that, to quote Giovanni. So shout out to the Favinator.
As a fantasy owner of Luca in my other league, and Sam, I know you can probably agree with me. I wish he kept playing in that Warriors game. I know he wasn't going to, but
Oh, it didn't
he
matter.
had a
I got
triple-double
enough. I got
at
enough. I don't even need more.
He could have had a new career, like 25 minutes, 35 points, triple-double. Oh, if that was a way closer game, Luca would have hit 50 that night.
You know, I'm going to name a couple of people who were drafted before Luka Dončić in our league
Okay.
because I got him with the 8th pick in the second round. Just to let out some names, Duffy, who you'll hear from later on the podcast, picked Ben Simmons 8th overall.
What an idiot.
He also picked Joel Embiid 9th overall. Roz picked Russell Westbrook 10th overall. And then
That
we've
was
got
too early.
Dame, Brad Beal, Rudy Gobert, all these guys picked before Luka Dončić.
I think Dame and Bradley Beal were at the time better picks. We didn't know what
Dame,
Luka was gonna
I
be.
agree. Bradley Beal, I do not agree.
Well, I mean, he's going to be averaging 30. He is averaging 30.
but why wouldn't Luka Dončić do more? And Luka
'cause
Dončić also passes and rebounds better than
Because
Beal.
I mean, at the time, we're thinking, is Porzingis, Doncic gonna how is that scoring it? Like we didn't there was an element of mystery when we knew Bradley Beal was going to be getting the ball more than anyone else on the Wizards.
And we also knew Luka Dončić was going to be getting the ball more than anybody else on the Mavs.
Because
Because it's a Kristaps Porzingis who's coming off not playing for a full year.
That doesn't mean Luka was going to get the ball more than anyone, but who's going to get the ball more on their team? Bradley on the Wizards or Doncic on the Mavs?
It's been Dončić on the Mavs.
I just don't think that's true, but that's where we differ.
It's just the truth. I mean, I get it. Beal's averaging his 30 points per game, but, Beal doesn't bring the ball up every single time like Luka's bringing the ball up every time. He's facilitating. Their entire offense runs through him. Mm-hmm. The Wizards, on the other hand, they have, Ish Smith bringing the ball up and kind of facilitating, and Beal's doing his off-ball thing with the facilitating mixed in, but I don't know. It's Luke. The Mavs are as much Luka's team as anybody is anybody's team. Does that make any sense?
Sure.
We'll roll with it.
Sure.
So you will now hear our interview with let's check his record.
15, 16, I think.
With the 15, 16-1 Krusty the Effin' Clown owner, Jacob Duffy. We'll be right back. We now welcome onto the show another member of the UNH Volleyball Fantasy Basketball League. Today we've got the owner of probably one of the more precarious team names in the league, Krusty the fucking Clown. This kid's a fucking clown. We now welcome on Jacob Duffy. Duffman, how are you?
I'm doing great, Sam. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, welcome to the show. This is part of our weekly segment where we kind of just chirp each other about the fantasy league is what it's turning into. But let's talk about your team for a minute.
My team's going okay this year. I know that the three other guys in the room with me are kind of in the top three spots, but I'm trailing behind. I'm feeling a late season comeback, maybe.
You know, you've had a couple of guys been balling out a little bit as of late.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically Drew Holiday. I kind of like what I've been seeing from him.
I've had him on
Drew with
fantasy
a J
games in the past, and he's a great fantasy basketball player. I love having him on my team.
He racks up steals.
Mm-hmm.
Steals are underrated. Mm-hmm. Steals is what's keeping me and Yanni's game not a blowout right now. We'll get to that later. So your first pick, Duffman, was
Joel Embiid.
Now, how's that been working out for you?
Not great. I chose Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons as my first two picks, which probably wasn't that smart to have not only two on the same team, but those two as the picks. Kind of just went for it on the fly, and it didn't work out.
You're missing out on 3-pointers right there.
Yeah.
My 3-point game's
got
not
one.
very good.
But, Duff, listen.
Yeah.
We got a big matchup coming up eventually.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to understand that when it comes down to it, friendships get thrown out the door.
There are no friendships in fantasy basketball.
All right. Because it's going to be quick. It's going to be ugly.
It won't be quick.
Yanni, why are you even talking right now?
Because I can.
Because you're down 5-2-1 to
right,
me.
Folks.
It's a little bit of a spank fest right now. Just for a little bit of context, 3-pointers made. I'm up 54-30 against Yanni. Rebounds, I'm up 177-106 against Yanni. Assists, ready for this? I'm up 106-45 against Yanni. Blocks, anybody want to guess? Any guess? It's 20-9. Who do you think's up? Yeah, it's me. You guys are pointing, which is bad radio, but regardless. And then there's points. Now, if I were to tell you that I was almost double his points, would you believe me?
I believe you.
Yeah, it's 468-264. How do you respond to that, Yanni?
Kyrie Irving, dead. Malcolm Brogdon, dead. Kawhi Leonard, dead. Lonzo Ball, dead. JJ Redick, dead. DeAndre Ayton, dead. Andrew Wiggins, dead. Can I name anyone else on my team?
Your whole team's dead.
Who is dead? Yeah, they're all dead. Not living, barely breathing. Still alive, but I'm barely breathing. Whatever those chorus
and I
lines
think
are.
you want to comment on your 0-7-1 tie loss to by far the worst team in the league. I don't know what happened. Maybe it was a little bit of him being good or you being bad. But I have a question for you, Duffy. Mm-hmm. So You played Chris last week, and as maybe the viewers don't know or listeners don't know, that Chris will change his team name depending on who he's facing that week. And I forget, do you remember what yours was against? Because when you played Chris, it was something weird.
Was it Easy 8-0? Or
No, that was his. So
It was Yanni has crabs.
Oh yes, that was it. That was
yeah,
it.
so yeah, that was Yanni's name. And then when he played you last week, it was an easy 8-0. And you ended up winning, I believe, 5-3 that week.
It was 5-2-1.
5-2-1.
It was 5-2-1, yeah.
Now, do you have a comment for Chris on your victory over him after he talked shit about going easy 8-0?
I think Chris chirps a lot, but he's got nothing to back it up, and he has a tapeworm that's controlling his brain. So
It's tiny
know what he's
balls.
saying.
It's true. Let us be known that Chris Ladaddy does have a tapeworm.
Yeah, that
You know
tapeworm's been affecting not only his fantasy basketball team, but his livelihood too.
Yes.
Yep.
No questions about that.
So this week he's facing Ben Laycock. So Chris, the creative mind that he is, he changed his team name to Ben Littlecock.
Yeah, that was
I'm not sure
quite
if
the name.
I'm not sure if I get it.
Just to play on words, as the kids say.
Yeah, it's Chris Ladati, a young wordsmith.
Yes,
So Duffy, this week you're facing Alvin. We had Alvin on last week. Is that right?
we did.
And you're up 5-2-1 right now. Your team's kind of surging.
I feel confident against Alvin. I don't think Alvin can do anything to phase me this week.
Right now, you're leading 93-36 in assists, 11-6 in blocks, 342-283 in points. Other than that, it's kind of close. Steals are locked even. You're only up by 9 in rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
And then like field goal percentage, free throw percentage, we all know those fluctuate. So
Yeah, those
how are you feeling as we end toward the end of the matchup?
I'm not really sure, but like just based on how my team's been doing so far, I feel like I'm just gonna come out on top in the end.
Yeah, well, tonight you've got DeMar DeRozan going against Philly,
Mm-hmm.
Joel Embiid against the Spurs, LA against Philly, Ben Simmons against the Spurs. Then you got Lou Will against Houston. That could be a big game for him. And
Lou
then
Will, Lou
what I
Will.
what I
Lou
think might be
Will.
the best matchup for you tonight is probably Bam Adebayo against Chicago. I don't know who's going to stop him. Chicago doesn't really have any powerful big men. I don't think
Yeah.
Wendell Carter Jr. is big enough to prevent Bam Adebayo from getting 15 boards.
No comment.
Why is Wendell Carter Jr. on your team?
No, he's my brother.
Oh yeah, he's a Duke man.
Yep.
Well, what do you think? I don't know. Wendell Carter, he's been
I think he's been playing well lately this year, but
he's
not.
He's on Alvin's team.
He's not the craziest, center in the league, obviously.
Yeah, he's
but
averaging-
He's doing his job.
Averaging 13 points, 10 rebounds.
Yeah,
It's pretty
he's
good.
doing his job.
So, Duffy, I have a question because I saw an interesting stat line the other night where Andre Drummond's leading the league in rebounds at number 1. I believe Giannis is number 2. But interestingly enough, number 3 is a Sabonis on the Indiana Pacers, and he's averaging almost 14 rebounds a game, and you have him on your team. Can you comment on the production he's been giving your team?
Sabonis is another one, just like Drew Holiday, who I've had on fantasy teams in the past, and he just never fails to produce, so I thought I'd pick him up again this year, and it seems to be working out in my favor, so I'm pretty happy about it.
Is Sabonis in the starting lineup over there in Indy? I haven't gotten around to see any of their games.
I don't believe so, but
He's still coming off the bench.
he's still playing.
I can't remember.
He's still playing like 29 minutes a night. So.
Yeah, I just can't
He's
remember if he
averaging
comes off the bench or
34
not.
minutes.
34 minutes. There
he
you
might
go.
be in the starting lineup.
18.6 points and almost 14 rebounds.
I haven't caught an Indy game yet. Something I do want to see because I haven't seen Brogdon play. But at the same time, seeing Indiana Pacers, I could care less.
Yeah, he literally gets a double-double basically every night.
Yeah.
Sabonis, he's crazy.
Yes, plays hard.
Mhm.
Got to give him that.
Yeah, and
Does
Sabonis,
play hard.
he is starting, and in
He
his
is
last
starting
game,
this
he
year.
had 16 points, 18 boards.
Mhm.
Yes. So,
Miles Turner, on the other hand, 9 points, 7 rebounds. Matt, is he still on your roster?
He is, and he actually just got back. I actually ended up missing his return. He was still in my IR spot, and he had 4 blocks that night, which I was pretty bummed about. But I had him for Brooklyn. He had 3 blocks, and that's what I need him for. I need him to get me blocks. I'm not worried about his scoring. And he can do rebounds, too, which I'm pretty happy with.
Miles Turner is actually one of the players in the league that I refuse to call him by his actual name, and I only call him by My Lace Turner. So that's just a fun fact about Miles Turner that I wanted to let the crowd know.
Okay.
My Lace.
Okay, my lace. Okay.
I just refuse. It's not Miles, it's My Lace. It's just him. He does him. There's a few others that I can't remember off the top of my head, but My Lace is my guy.
So I'm looking at the recent activity in the league, and a couple interesting ads going on. Team Roz added Jackson Hayes to his team.
Raj is a sneakily good fantasy player.
Yeah, he pays attention.
We don't see him a lot. We see everyone in our league for the most part during the week. Raj, we don't see a lot, and he's making some. He's staying quiet, but he started off bad. Now his teams, Kevin Love has been staying healthy. Porzingis has been staying healthy. Zion, he still has Zion on the IR, and he dropped Oladipo to add another player, but he's a sneakily good fantasy player, and he's giving me trouble right now. And I know my team's Damian Lillard's been hurt, and Jokic has been, but Raz is a smart player. He knows what he's doing.
For his big names, he's got Russ, Jamal Murray, Porzingis, Kemba, Blake Griffin, Marcus Smart, LeBron. Then past that, it's a bunch of random guys who've been playing surprisingly well. Dennis Schroeder's been producing. He's averaging 15 points.
Marcus Smart has been shooting the ball especially very well this year.
And he's also averaging 1.3 steals, 5.1 assists, and 3.5 rebounds. So he's giving you production in every stat category. And that's not something you expect from every two-guard in basketball. So
picked up Daniel Theis, too, who can average a block or two. It seems like he's picking up players that is making because obviously his team's really good with blocks. He's got Porzingis. He's got he's got a few players who can give average like a block or two a game, and he seems to be focusing on those stat lines that make his team great, so he can always win those stat lines.
Yeah, but the thing about Raz is that looking at the guys that he's dropped, so he's dropped PJ Tucker, Goran Dragic. I'm just gonna read through all of them: DeAndre Jordan, Eric Bledsoe, but who picked up Bledsoe? Duffy, you did, yeah. He's dropping good players, and you add Oladipo to that, you add Draymond Green to that. It's interesting because he doesn't hesitate to drop guys who are notoriously good players who we know are going to produce as the season goes on. That's where I'm skeptical of his strategy because he's going for the guys who are doing well now. Well, my team, on the other hand, the reason why I lost to him last week is because I'm not
losing to Ross.
I know. I'm not going to drop.
Imagine losing to Laycock.
Well, let me make my point. I'm not going to drop my injured guys, I'm not dropping Kyle Lowry. I'm not dropping De'Aaron Fox. Not dropping Vooch. Capella was hurt for a little bit. Ingram was hurt for a little bit. I even had Jonathan Isaac hurt for a little bit. I'm not dropping any of those guys. They're too good. Roz would have dropped Jonathan Isaac. He would have dropped probably Lowry already.
Yeah, that's like a bird in the hand is two in the bush scenario. Raj just wants the points now when you're looking forward to the future.
Yeah.
Making sure that your team's going to be good for the future.
That bastard was trying to kick me while I was down, and he won, so I can't deny the success rate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to give some respect to Roz. He's playing a different type of game than most of us, and seems to be working out in his favor for now, at least.
It's a long season. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, last week was so interesting to me because all the teams I think we expected to win ended up losing, right? So you lost, Sam lost, I lost, and I guess since Chris was playing Duffy, I kind of expected Chris to win.
I never expect Chris to win.
But because Chris has been doing well. He did well the first two games, is my point. But Duffy's team has been staying healthy and has been playing really well. So, good on Duffy.
My team is not healthy. I'm suffering because Hayward and D'Lo are both out. I wish they were healthy.
Yeah, and I'm sure Sam and Yanni wish their four key players weren't injured at the moment. You still have Doncic and Giannis, who are arguably the best players right now for fantasy.
14 key players.
14.
Well, my only key injuries, I've been getting better as time has gone on. Right now, I only have Vooch,
which is a big
Fox, and Kyle Lowry, who are out. But Devontae Graham has been producing just as well as Lowry.
His production's great this year.
He's been a lot better than Rozier.
Yes.
So
shockingly.
I've been very happy with that.
I would say I didn't think Rozier was going to do too well in Charlotte. I wouldn't say shockingly, but yeah, I know what you mean.
But you can't say you could have predicted Devontae Graham to outperform him.
No, absolutely not.
So Duffy, while we have you, is there anything else you'd like to say on the fantasy basketball front before we let you go?
I'd say just watch out for me. It's a long season, and I'm ready for this.
All right, well, we will hear from you in the future as the season goes on. Duffy, I'd like to thank you for coming on the show, and we'll see you at practice on Tuesday. Or not even. Do we have practice Tuesday?
We don't.
We have practice after Thanksgiving break.
After Thanksgiving break, I will see you. So have a good Thanksgiving, Duffman.
Thank you so much for having me, Sam.
All right, we are now back. That was fun having Duffy on for the interview. Matt has now left us because he had a group project to work on, so now it's me, Yanni, and we got our producer, Ben Strawbridge, on the mic. Ben, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Sam, as always.
Ben, thank you for coming on. So, Brandon Ingram, Yanni.
Yeah.
This man, people were skeptical of him in his career with the Lakers.
Right.
Wasn't really doing anything that really jumped out at anybody. And now this man is proving himself to be, in my opinion, as much of a number one scorer as there is in basketball. Ingram's averaging 25.6 points per game, and the dude's shooting at a high clip, 45% from three and 51% from the field.
Yes.
I think he's a borderline all-star.
I think so, too. Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
How old are you, and when is your date of birth?
I'm 22, October 15th.
All right. Can I let you know that Brandon Ingram is a whole month older than you.
I'm aware, yeah. He's born September 2nd, 1997.
That is it. 1 month. That is the craziest thing I think that people overlook. The man's 22 years old.
It's a little depressing.
22 years old. He's been in the league for, this is 4th season. He is having a not only breakout year, a prove people wrong year, and a eat a bag of stir-fried chicken wings year. That's what I'm calling it.
That's right. LeBron is eating stir-fried chicken wings that are unhealthy. There's a lot of MSG. It's slowing him down, and because Ingram's now off the MSG, right?
Yeah.
He's balling out.
Yes.
He's eating all that gumbo in New Orleans.
25 points a game, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Brandon Ingram is not only the best player on the Pelicans, potential all-star, and I mean, I know the Pelicans aren't doing well, but this is a fit for him, and I'm so happy for the kid.
Oh, you're so right. It's so perfect, because the one
happy.
thing that they lack is that true, just pure scorer.
Yes.
We get it. Drew Holiday is an amazing player. JJ Redick's a beautiful three-point shooter.
Yep.
And then when healthy, Lonzo Ball, facilitator, defender, Zion Williamson, when healthy, he's going to do what he's going to do, but he's not the kind of guy. None of those players are guys where you can put the ball in their hands, and it doesn't matter who's guarding him. He can get bucks.
Exactly.
And we saw that in the last 2 minutes of the game where he dropped 9 points and led them to the win over the Suns, where they won 124 to 121.
Yep.
So that's him outplaying, for example, Devin Booker, who's one of the most explosive scorers in basketball.
Right.
And I think Booker's been damn good this year. Who would you rather have right now, Devin Booker or Brandon Ingram, Yanni?
Give me Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, give me Ingram too. I think
Give me Ingram.
the only reason why I would take Booker over Ingram is because Ingram has an injury history.
Yeah.
Booker doesn't. But that's injuries, and we don't want to speculate about injuries.
Right.
We're looking at production on the floor. Granted, it's really close.
It is, yes.
But I just love that 6'10" frame.
I think you got to give me Brandon Ingram, too. I mean, I've loved this kid since college, obviously. He's a Dookie. He was on the team the year after the Natty ship, so that season included sophomore year Grayson Allen, Luke Kennard, who's also in the league, and then other guys like Emile Jefferson. He's played on teams with fantastic players, all NBA guys, and he is finally proving himself at the NBA level that he is fit for this game. And I'm tired of overrated talk. I'm tired of bust talk. Take that, shove it up your anus, because I'm done with it.
Exactly. And like, Yanni, when Ingram was first coming out of college, who was his comp?
Kevin Durant. Everybody said Kevin Durant.
And you know what? It's real.
Yeah,
He's looking like him.
I think so too.
I don't know if he'll be the second best player of our generation.
No.
But
there's no claims to that yet.
Perennial all-star looks like it could be a thing.
Yeah. The way he's playing, I don't see why not.
There's no reason to think otherwise.
Correct.
Moving on, a little bit of a less enjoyable story. James Wiseman of the Memphis, what's their mascot?
I don't even know.
The Panthers or something like
Yeah.
that? Regardless.
Something stupid.
He's been having a tumultuous season in college basketball.
Yep.
And they've finally given him the lowdown, I guess, or whatever the word is, on his NCAA status.
He's suspended.
Yes, he is.
11 games. And
Actually, 12 games.
is it 12?
Yeah, it's
It is
12
12.
games.
12 games.
And then he
Because
also-
it's 11 more, I think.
And he also has to donate $11,500, I believe.
Yep, that's true. To a charity of his choice. I'm reading this from the Washington Post right now. And it's funny. The funny thing I see about all this is that he actually has a very high-profile supporter in his corner right now. Have you guys heard about who is supporting him?
I'm going to guess Penny Hardaway.
Actually, no. I'll give you a hint. It's outside the realm of basketball.
Ooh.
Donald Trump.
That
No.
was close.
Yanni, do you have a guess?
That
I was gonna
actually
say
is
Donald Trump, too.
It's actually a good guess, though. He is in the
Oh, no,
realm-
it's Obama.
No, but you're close. He is a Democrat.
Let's do one more guess apiece.
He's running in...
Oh, it's Pete Buttigieg.
No.
Mitt Romney.
Mitt Romney's a Republican.
I don't know politics.
It's all right. It's actually Andrew Yang.
Oh, the Yang Gang.
Is
There
he
we
a
go.
New Hampshire guy?
He's,
Or like,
No.
he likes New Hampshire, I think?
He does like New Hampshire,
All
yeah.
right, cool. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know why you wouldn't.
It says here in the Post that, quote, Yang was one of many to find fault with the NCAA rather than the player. And he said here, we should be paying NCAA athletes on the regular instead of cutting them off, he said, who described the NCAA's decision as, quote, so bogus.
I agree.
It is bogus. I couldn't have said it that better myself.
The NCAA makes no sense. What is this punishment? It's arguably the worst punishment I've ever heard in my whole entire life. 12 games and a fine. When you make such a big deal of this, you either have to go all in or not at all. That's my take. You either don't suspend them, or suspend him for the whole entire season.
But wouldn't you rather this as a basketball fan?
As a basketball fan, yes. But coming from the NCAA's perspective, I think it's so stupid.
Yeah,
they are
showing...
so dumb. That was so weak of them. $11,500. Where is he supposed to get that? Like,
he's a year from becoming pro. Like he isn't at that high status yet. Like,
he's a great basketball player.
What's the average amount that a pro typically gets paid?
Well, if he's the first pick in the draft, he will be making millions right out of
tens
college.
of millions. Yeah.
Yes.
What's he making right now?
He's a collegiate athlete.
$0.
Oh.
Yes.
I'll tell you what he's not paying for, though. He's not paying for an education right now. He has a full scholarship.
Yes.
But at the same time, we all know he's a one and done.
Right.
So
what's the point?
What does that scholarship do for you? Yeah, 1 year of college, nice. He's not going to get a degree unless he goes back later.
No.
And I think that even if he goes back, would he have to pay?
Probably not, I would assume.
I don't know. Regardless, though, it's all BS, and the NCAA is just looking dumb again, like they usually do.
Stupid.
Stupid.
It's just it's painful.
Yeah, it's painful to watch, but I think it is getting better because there is the new law where players are going to be allowed to make money off their names.
Eventually, yes.
Eventually, we're not there yet, but I think that the lenient punishment here, in my opinion, is better than what it could have been.
I agree.
Because I think that if he got suspended for the entire year, that would be absolute, straight up, bona fide.
I think it would have been
that's
crazy.
That's a turd on a frozen pond right there.
All right, I like that. But at the same time, just the NCAA looks so soft, and it's sad to see.
They look bad with almost every decision they make.
And what is James Wiseman even missing? I don't even think he's missing any crazy big games. Maybe a couple nationally broadcasted games. And I know Memphis is going to be really good this year because I've watched them play. Boogie Ellis is solid. He decommitted from Duke. These guys can play. They're going to be fine without him. So I don't even know if he's missing any crazy big games. It's not like they're doing anyone a disjustice here.
He'll be back January 12th.
Yeah.
I mean, that gives him 2 months before.
We're going to blink our eyes, and he's going to be back.
2 months before March Madness, and Memphis is a good enough team to stay afloat. So.
Yes, I think so, too. They're going to be top 25 all year.
I'd like to, maybe not end depending on where this goes, but I'd like to add in this interesting tweet from Andrew Hawkins, and he's like that meme setup where something happens, and it's like the second person says something, and it says, quote, Wiseman pays $11,500 donation. NCAA, quote, we have opened up an investigation in order to find the source of a large payment made by a student athlete.
I would not put that past them.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a setup.
NCAA is just a trap.
I mean, Memphis, of course, my thing freezes right when I'm trying to talk about them. Memphis, the Grizzlies. Memphis Grizzlies, that's the team.
No, that's NBA.
We're talking about the collegiate team.
Are you doing some other research, my friend?
All right, we're going to move on.
Yeah, I don't know how I got the Grizzlies on.
You're doing some other research over there. Strawbridge.
We're going to move on. Ben Simmons. Not one of my favorite players. Mm-hmm. Yanni, not one of your favorite players either.
One of my least favorite players, yeah.
And this is one of my least favorite Instagram captions too, but he did a thing the other night.
Yeah, he did a three. He did a three-pointer.
What's the word I'm looking for?
Sucks.
He sucks.
Yeah.
He stinks. He smells bad.
He's the worst.
It's his
I heard
first.
that he's the worst smelling player in the history of the NBA.
Top three.
What does he smell like?
You know when you poop and then you wipe with your hand and then you smear it all over yourself?
Come on, man.
That's kind of... Oh, whoa.
What?
I just got totally off topic. Do you guys know the Phantom Gourmet?
Yes, of course.
I just got a notification that they have a new video, and it's for one of my favorite restaurants, Pizza Barn in Ossipee, New Hampshire. Anybody, have you been there?
I have not.
Ben, have you been there?
No, I've not.
Oh, my God. Highly recommend it. Get a pepperoni pizza. It's awesome. But back to Ben Simmons. I've been on the record saying that Ben Simmons has a mental block in his head that prevents him from shooting outside of 10 feet. And look, Ben, you're a Ben too.
I am a Ben.
If you can relate to Ben somehow.
So, Ben, how much basketball have you played in your life?
The only basketball I really remember playing are in two cases. One, in my backyard, where I would try this game called 21 with my brother and some friends.
Yeah,
and
good game.
I love 21.
21.
Played the other day, actually.
I forget the specifics, but basically you have to be the first
We
to
know
reach 21.
our listeners are basketball aficionados, so they know the rules. But, Ben, so when was the last time you actually stepped onto a court?
The last time I stepped onto a court, to my knowledge, was back in high school. And it wasn't like an official basketball game in itself. It was this little end of the year thing called wheelchair basketball, and basically, scratch that. That I mixed that up with wheelchair soccer. But basically, I was on the court for that. And
So here's my question.
yeah.
Have you ever attempted a 3-point shot?
Given that I've only recently discovered what qualifies as a 3-point shot, probably.
Do you think you've ever made a 3-point shot?
I'd say I've made about 5% of them.
You know who hasn't made 5% of them?
Ben Simmons.
There you go.
And this is his
So-
first one out of 172 games.
I think we can officially say that Ben Strawbridge is a better 3-point shooter than Ben Simmons. Yanni, where do you stand?
We're on the record as that being totally correct.
What's Simmons'
Totally
percentage?
Correct. It's bad. I don't know. What it is.
Well, I'll pull it up right now.
I want to see
It
if
might
I'm
be a little bit
actually
over
better.
5%. I think he's 1 for 19. So he might have you beat by a hair.
That would be a shame if Ben Simmons
He's
is a better 3-point.
.056.
Yes, by a hair.
So literally by a hair, he's got you beat, Ben. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I never admitted to being an NBA All-Star anyway, so.
That's all right. Listen, my thing with Ben Simmons, he stinks. His 2K 3-point rating went up 12 points. He hit 1 3.
That's ridiculous.
I know.
12 points?
I know.
Yanni and I, we're shooters.
Yeah.
Okay? If I were in 2K, my moving 3, we're not going to talk about it.
Okay.
But my set shot 3,
Stand still, yep.
my standstill 3, I think I'm at like a 79.
Yeah.
And Yanni, I've seen you play. I'm going to say you're like an 84.
Yeah.
I'll admit to that.
Intramurals last night, did I go 4 for 9 from 3? I did.
That's 84 right there.
Yeah.
I love to hear that.
Yeah. Can't complain. But I hate you, Ben Simmons. Go die.
Go, Ben Simmons. If you stopped playing basketball tomorrow,
No one would miss you.
I'd stand and applaud. And
I would too.
I'd go to a Magic game and watch Markelle Fultz play and enjoy it.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
So the last thing that we get to before we close out the podcast today, Yanni, you got a little bit of a personal endeavor you wanted to tell us. Is that
Just
right?
a little bit of a story that I totally forgot about, but I think it was Wednesday into Thursday. For the folks at home, I'm a big dreamer, so I have a lot of dreams every single night. And I think I woke up in the middle of the night and saw a text from either Ben, Sam, or Matt, and then just immediately fell back asleep and had a dream of the HoopCats podcast. And we were in a live studio with about 100 people watching. And I forget who was on guest, but me and that person got into a huge argument about how a team can fit a player's style. So the conversation dragged into who's better, Derek Carr, who's on my fantasy team, which is why I think this sparked into my head, or
Derek
Tom
Carr?
Brady. Yes.
Or Tom Brady.
Football. I don't know how it sparked into it. It was like, I think it was Luka Dončić talk, actually, saying this person is in a system that best fits them. I can't remember exactly what it was, but the person said Derek Carr because Tom Brady is only good because of the Patriots system. And I remember in my dream making that person cry after they said that, leading to a standing ovation from the live audience that was in attendance. So
I think I've gotten the message from your dream.
yeah,
We need to do a live podcast.
I think we do too.
I don't know where it's going to be.
In the fishbowl.
Yeah, we'll do it in the fishbowl. We'll set up a stage. Ben, you're on it?
Yeah, I'll be on it.
All right, well,
It's
we're-
destiny.
This is in
I've had-
not print, but we've talked about it,
Yeah,
so it's got to
on the
happen
record.
now.
It's on the record.
Yanni, I just need to know about this little dream of yours. These 100 people, were they streaming it from like a website, or were they all
No,
like
they were
crowded
In studio.
Yeah, they
They
were
were
sitting
all
around us.
in this studio?
Not this exact studio. It was a more open studio, a lot more windows. Everyone was sitting on stools.
It was a spectacle.
Yes, it was a sight to see.
What's it sponsored
All
by
right, so-
Barstool?
I wish, but I just remember that I was literally making the person cry by imitating them crying and saying things, and it made them cry, and everyone loved it. So
That's a
I
little
think that
preview of
needs
our
to
live
happen.
podcast that's coming up.
Yes, I think it needs to happen.
All right, so Ben, take some notes right now, okay?
Oh.
You ready? Let me know when you're ready. Let me know when you have your notepad out.
Yes, or a notepad app.
You ready?
I have my notes. What?
Okay, so take this down.
Yeah.
Fishbowl.
Fishbowl.
We need a huge stage.
Huge stage.
You want fireworks, Yanni?
At least 3.
Okay, 3 fireworks.
Good thing they're recently
Let's say
legal.
4. Let's say 4 to be safe.
Even it out. Yeah. We got to test one too. 5.
5 fireworks.
What colors? Our logo or
I'd say green, blue, and red. That's
yeah,
our logo.
That's what I was
Yeah,
gonna
that
say
makes
too.
sense.
Yeah,
So we got the stage. Lights. We need lights.
obviously.
We need big lights.
Big
Stools.
lights.
We need stools. We need 3 stools. 1 for me, 1 for Yanni, 1 for Matt.
Yep.
What would I get?
I feel like you get a
Sofa.
Yeah.
Oh.
To yourself.
The sofa for Strawbridge.
Yes. The Strawbridge sofa.
The Strawbridge sofa. It's like, you ever go to the Big Three?
Yeah. It's
So-
just no,
so
no. I haven't been to the Big
I
Three.
went to
but
the
my
Bi-
friends all went to the Big Three, and they said they loved it.
Yeah, I went to the one in Providence. It was a great time, and
Yeah.
they have this sofa like right on the court side.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning, this guy Tattoo, he's like, "Yo, man, whoever wants to sit in the sofa, like, say something." And then like they pick some random women and they just sit in the sofa for the whole time, and it's funny. But back to the plan for the live podcast,
Yeah.
crowd wise, I think we need a lot of ladies in the crowd.
Yes, obviously.
So Ben, I'm gonna give you some names. Here's some people I specifically want in the crowd. Okay,
Are these big names or are these like locals?
you'll hear.
Oh, okay.
I think we need Kendall Jenner in the crowd.
Yep.
She's a big basketball fan.
Okay.
Rihanna,
Okay.
Beyonce,
Yep.
Okay.
Yanni. Anybody you think of, just spit it out.
Camila Cabello, because I like that Spanish flavor.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah,
Ooh.
spicy.
Let's get Zendaya in there too.
Yep.
It's Zendaya, not Zendaya.
Zendaya, excuse me.
Disrespect her again, I dare you.
I apologize. Zendaya, I know you're listening. I'm sorry. Keep doing what you do. You're doing a great job. And then, just because we chirp him so much, let's get Ben Simmons there.
Yeah.
I want him there.
think
I
he
want
should
him
be
hearing
there.
it.
Yeah.
If I could make first, Yanni, do you have any special people you want to invite?
None off the top of my head. Marilyn Monroe, if she's
she
still
alive?
Unfortunately, she died in the 60s.
we can check on that.
Double check that
Understand.
before we confirm it.
All right.
And if I may invite someone in particular, I know this is going to elicit some groans, but if I could possibly get either in person or through a live stream, what's her name? What's her name? She's a redhead. I'm trying to think of her name.
Lindsay Lohan.
Yes, I knew that was going to happen. I was trying not to say the name myself because I knew it was going to elicit some groans. But
Well, we got to make sure she's clean when she gets here.
Yes.
don't worry,
So we'll have her. We'll have Amanda Bynes. But I think for Ben Simmons,
Amanda.
this will be an
Bynes.
extra play because if we have Ben Simmons come on the podcast,
Yeah.
I say we tell him he's going to be on the podcast, and then we never invite him on.
Oh.
And then we'll have Kendall, his old,
Yeah, a little side piece.
and then I'll make
Slide it?
make a little
Yeah.
move on Kendall. Be like, hey, like, trying to hang out after this? I don't know.
And then we have the most real estate in Ben Simmons' head since the Vietnamese War.
Literally.
Yeah.
So on the Ben Simmons chirp fest, I think it's time to close out the podcast.
I love
agree.
this podcast.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
So I'd like to thank our producer, Ben Strawbridge, for coming on the show today.
It's a pleasure, Mr. Eggman.
Shout out Matt. He's not here right now, but he did a good job in the pod. Yanni,
Good job. Yep.
always good.
I try my best.
Shout out to Miguel Euler Castrillo for the music.
And to WUNH for their studios and for letting us use them. It is such a privilege.
And my mom, just for fun.
Shout out Mom. Shout out my mom, too.
All
I
moms.
love you.
All
Yeah,
moms.
All moms. All moms.
You know what? Every mom, if you're listening to this, give your mom a hug. Give your dad a hug. Give your aunt a hug. Give your uncle a hug. Give your dog a little kiss.
Be grateful for them.
Thanksgiving's coming up. Hopefully you're listening to this while you're eating your Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what people
your
do?
Background music. Yeah.
The perfect soundtrack.
Yes. So.
The Kokoris family Thanksgiving's got a little bit of HoopCats going on, right?
Of course. No doubt.
In all
doubt.
seriousness, I think Doug might be listening to this on Thanksgiving. Shout out
hope
Doug
so.
Radosky.
Yeah. Shout out Doug.
Doug.
Doug, big shout out. We love you on that. I'm just going to say good night. It's been a good episode. Shout out Doug.
Hasta la vista.
Baby.
Beautiful.